Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time we're going to be taking a look at this. This is Batman number 403 from 1986. And this is a story written by Max Allen Collins, with art by Dennis Cowan, pencils, and Greg Brooks on the inks. And of course, this is 86. This is just after the Infinite Crisis stuff, so it's early Copper Age, leading into what people have described as the Dark Age of comics, and Batman was very big in that. But this is an interesting one. I think it's actually it's not necessarily a multi-parter per se, but it does seem to be part of an overall story arc featuring this character Tommy Karma. Whether it's the direct previous issue dealt with him or not, I don't know. I don't have it. But from the background, from the context in here, the character has been established previously, and this concludes at least a story arc. But it reads pretty much like a one and done, which is good. And of course, Max Collins. I gotta mention Max Collins. For those who aren't aware, is a novelist, primarily a mystery novelist. For several years, he wrote the Dick Tracy comic strip, and drawn by Dick Lochner, I think. It may have been another one at the time. And is co-creator of Ms. Tree, which with an artist, and they has bopped from various creator-owned property, bopped to various publishers, including DC, and I plan on covering a Ms. Tree mystery here in the near future. But he's written comics, graphic novels, novelizations, and movies. He has he wrote the Dick Tracy novelization of the 1990 movie, and has written other Dick Tracy stuff. Wrote the graphic novel that the very popular movie from several years back, Road to Perdition. That was an excellent movie. And he wrote the graphic novel that's based on. Then he turned around and wrote the novelization of the movie based on his graphic novel. So that's cool. Various other things. So he has been writing this. I don't know how long or how many issues of Batman he wrote, because I don't think he was a regular writer for the title. And then Dennis Cowan, I know him best from his time on Drawing the Question, and he has some slightly stylized but some really nice work, good action sequences and stuff. So, and the title of this is One Batman Too Many. So we're going to delve into that. Let's move our bat figures out of the way and have a look inside. Right off the bat, splash page. Batman fighting. Oh, the Joker. He's got the Joker by the throat. And Two-Face is jumping on his back. It says, "I should have done this years ago." But something's not right. Look at the background. Look at this background. It's all kaleidoscopic, geometric, and it's very crazy. Well, yeah, because it is kind of crazy. And he's fighting who? and he is ruthless, and he ultimately kills both the Joker and Two-Face. Yes. Too bad you're not still alive, Joker. This is so funny it would kill you. And says something like, I should have done this years ago. Yeah. And here we see bats and the corpses. But you see that the kaleidoscopic background is changing. And here we see, it's not Batman. And it's not the Joker and Two-Face. This is Tommy Karma. And if you gentlemen don't mind, the night awaits me. And this is at Arkham Asylum. And those were two, as we can actually see on the back of the uniforms, these are Arkham Asylum security. And he's big, this guy, Tommy, he's big and strong. He manages to crash through the wired window, leaps agilely into a tree several feet away, and he is doing all kinds of great acrobatic stuff. He climbs down, and then the storm breaks, lightning, and being pummeled by the rain. And he exhilarates in it. He only feels at home. Then our scene changes to a fancy restaurant with Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale. And they're having a deep discussion, not so much personal. Remember, she is a photojournalist. And they're talking about the Batman. And they actually and she is very much against Batman. And she said, well, that's odd, because at one time you seemed to be like a fangirl for him. And says, no, but he's just become very brutal. And then they wind up talking about, because this Tommy Karma case has been a topic of conversation. Tommy Karma, the former cop. He's a former cop. His family was recently murdered. There was a hit on him, but his family were killed. He wasn't, and he idolized Batman, and his mind snapped, and he thought he was Batman, and he went out. He tracked down and killed the hitman who killed his family. And Bruce Wayne intervened, got him and got him into Arkham Asylum for mental evaluation before his trial. So there are Bruce and Vicky separating, putting her in a car to take off. I've got some business to take care of. Meanwhile, Tommy, he is loose, on the run in the grounds of Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum, but I don't know about now, but here at this point anyway, the grounds of Arkham Asylum abuts the Wayne estate, and he heads that way because he considers Bruce Wayne as a friend. And he's rushing, and he gets in there. And he finds a small hidey hole, and he gets in there out of the rain to hide. Meanwhile, Alfred drops them off, and Bruce drops Vicky off, and Alfred and Wayne head back to Wayne Manor. And this is when they reveal the Tommy Karma's backstory. And meanwhile, guards and the sheriff's department are searching the grounds and all over, searching the woods for the escaped lunatic Tommy Karma. And they don't realize how close they come to it. They don't see the small hidey hole that he has gotten into. And then Bruce heads back to his place. But meanwhile, Tommy is hears the screeching of bats, and he crawls back farther into the cave. It opens up into a larger cave system, which eventually brings him right to the Bat Cave. Uh-oh, bats, you goofed. Yes, right, and of course Tommy thinks he's the Batman, and there he is. I'm home, and he sees all this stuff, all the memorabilia, quickly donning one of the mini bat suits, comes up to the Batmobile and says, "How I've missed you." Remember that. Meanwhile, up above, in Wayne Manor, Robin, Jason Todd is the Robin at this time. He wakes up and he's restless, gets up. Meanwhile, the fake Batman in the Batmobile is off and down the road. Bruce and Alfred get there. Jason's up having a little midnight snack. Bruce is going to join him again, and he mentions briefly his date. It says secret identity crisis. Then they get a call, which Alfred takes. It's from Arkham, warning him Tommy Karma has escaped, because remember his property abuts next to the property. So Bruce and Jason go down to the cave, don their respective costumes, and the Batmobile. Where is it? I don't suppose you could have misplaced it. And of course, they said, obviously, they find Tommy Karma's clothing. Oh, somehow he must have found the Batcave. And he also says one of the costumes is missing. So he knows, tells Robin to stay there in the cave just in case Tommy comes back. He gets on the Batcycle and boom, into the storm he goes, racing around the sea. Dun, 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 dun. And he goes to see Commissioner Gordon. And of course, Commissioner Gordon kind of blames Bruce Wayne for this because he says, the other you is at large again. As I'm sure you know, thanks to the meddling of Bruce Wayne. What's he got to do with it? He pulled strings for Karma to get pre-trial psychiatric evaluation at Arkham Asylum. Think about it. The Joker and Two-Face are both incarcerated there. Uh-oh. It sent him off. And here's something about Tommy Karma's former partner. So that's where we are. The Batmobile is parked somewhere with Tommy there. Meanwhile, down in the police garage, there's Bats confronting the Tommy's former partner as he is getting off duty, ready to go home. At first, he thinks he's Bats is Tommy, but he's not. And then so they're talking, and says Tommy got help from you to find out where that guy was and killed. And they talk more, and he finds out about who put the hit out on Tommy from an ongoing investigation at the time. And it's what they call him, Spindle? Yeah, Spindle. Low life, and he's a low life crook, but he's also in the music industry, and he's at a trade show at this convention center, and that's where he is. That's where Bats goes. But Spindle, there's Bats. He leaps, confronting him, leaps down, starts taking out some of the goons. Of course, it's not Bats. It's the faux Bats. Batman finds the parked Batmobile. He leans on the car and says, "How I've missed you," just like Tommy had done. Then he hears the ruckus, gets into the convention center. The fake Bats has Spindle threatening him. The goons open fire, even though Spindle tells him to hold your fire, you're going to hit me, and they just blast right through him. Oh. So Spindle gets his, and then both the real Bats and the faux Bats are take down the gunman. Then it's Bats versus Bats. He goes, "What? Who?" Said, "Come on, Tommy. Come quietly, please." Says, "Imposter." They fight. But as good as Tommy is, he is no match for the real Batman, and he quickly takes him down. And Tommy says, "No, nobody can defeat the Batman." He goes, "That's right, Tommy, and you're not him. Let's go, son. Let's get you some help." And that's the end of that story, and that's good. I think it was a very well crafted story. Even though I didn't catch the earlier stuff, it wasn't entirely needed because we got enough info of the backstory in this issue to really bring me up to speed. Then it has a second part of a two-part thing. That's why I think it was just Max Collins was just writing a two-parter. Because as the grotesqueries, it's an essay by Max Allen Collins, the grotesqueries, the galleries of the grotesques, and it's Dick Tracy Batman connection, and that's kind of interesting because he's talking about Chester Gould and Bob Kane, and how even sometimes even unintentionally they kind of fed off one another, and many of the comparisons are natural. But he was saying in that article that the real grotesque type of villains of the Dick Tracy did not appear until after they started in Batman. And that the first one of those was Flat Top, and he is basically, and Flat Top is of course is kind of like Dick Tracy's Joker, in a way. But is kind of after that. But and they even had Dick Tracy had Half and Half, which was a direct swipe of Two-Face, although he didn't think Chester Gould knew about Two-Face because Half and Half. Because they're basically the same character, but just both were created independently. So that is all I had to tell you about this issue. It was a real enjoyable reading, and some really nice artwork. Not by no means my favorite Batman artists, but very well done. And I'm going to tell you right here, in a couple of weeks I plan on doing a kind of a series on Batman. So that's it. So please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below, and be sure, if you're a big Batman fan, be sure you come back to check out those Batman episodes. And remember, comics are art.